students, after discussing the process of organizing or discussing the various steps in the process of organizing, now we are going to have a look at the other important aspect of the organizing function. And this is very important because of the role that it plays in the organizations, especially in case of the big organizations. In the big organizations, specialization works wonderfully. Let us see what this specialization is. Specifically, when we talk of specialization, we talk about the work specialization. So let us see what is work specialization. First of all, I want to tell you that specialization is nothing but the division of the cooperative labor in specific circumscribed tasks and roles which are intended to increase the productivity of labor. In other words, we can say that specialization is when the production process is split up into several tasks and each worker performs one of these tasks. Some people call specialization as the division of labor also. Division of labor, students, is one of the important principles of the management given by Henry Fayol. Historically, the growth of a more complex division of labor is closely associated with the growth of the total output and trade also. The rise of the capitalism and of the complexity of the industrialization process has given birth to work specialization, which refers to the degree to which an organization divides individual tasks into separate jobs. Individual employees specialize in doing part of an activity rather than entire activity, and the job is broken down into steps, and a different person completes each step in the organization. Again, mind you, that this kind of specialization is important for large size organizations. In small organizations, we normally do not expect that one person will be assigned for each job. Because of the limited resources, they manage with the small means. But in case of the big organizations, there is a necessity, there must be work specialization. I want to explain you this work specialization with the help of some examples. Because it is a division of labor. And a division of labor is when there is a job to be done, then you divide up that job into various tasks for all to do. For example, when you have dirty dishes, for example, then having one person wash the dishes and other person drying the dishes could be the division of the work. One person will be specializing in one job, another person will be specializing in another job. Or you can say that it is an equal distribution or equal division of labor. Equal division of labor would be when those tasks are divided up so that each person has a task which requires as much efforts to complete as much of the other task. It means that specialization is needed in organizations to make things easier and simpler and in shortest possible time. Another example of specialization can be given in the light of this picture, these 5 pictures that you can see here, showing the specialization in a table factory where we find 5 kind of processes involved. One is the cutting the wood, followed by scraping the wood waste, followed by assembling the table, and now after that polishing the table, and finally transport part, that is sending it to the retailers for sale purposes. There are specialists, there are experts who are expert of their field. One man may perform all these tasks And generally they perform all these tasks in case of the small organizations where there is a lack of resources, where there is lack of manpower. But in case of the large organizations, all these tasks are done by individuals, and these individuals, I want to tell you that they become experts of their field, and their capacity and capability both are enhanced. And it will not be wrong to say that the work specialization is an important activity. There are several advantages of the work specialization which are gained by the organization, because the production rates would increase as each worker would perform less tasks than before. And example for this may be that there is a pin manufacturing company which produces 4,500 pins per day. After the introduction of work specialization, the same company would be able to manufacture maybe around 9,000 pins per day, because the capacity becomes double in normal situations. So when he is manufacturing 9,000 pins per day, so you can see here that worker is performing less tasks, and it is freeing workers to focus on the tasks that they are best at. And this can be further explained in the light of the learning curve efficiencies. As per the learning curve efficiencies, students, more repetitions lead to learning faster. More repetitions lead into learning faster way to perform the task, because there is increase in productivity, because the training time is reduced and the worker is more productive in a short amount of time, and he is able to concentrate on one repetitive task. When he is focusing or concentrating on one repetitive task, it will make the worker more skilled at performing that task. And also, we should see another important aspect connected with this that might also cause steepening of the learning curve, where we find that there will be reduction in the time needed for training because the task is simplified. Increase in meta capabilities will, like ability to learn faster or further new tasks, will be possible if the work specialization is done. And finally, there will be little time will be spent moving between the tasks, so the overall time wasted is reduced in the organizations, and the overall quality of the product will be increasingly bring welfare gains to the consumers, because they will gain, and it will become possible to influence how production takes place in the organization. So friends, this was the positive side of the work specialization. Look at the other side. The other side also needs our attention. Finally, we will describe that whether the disadvantages are succeeding the advantages or not. People who are against the spirit of work specialization, they feel that there will be disconnection from effects of action, which means that the workers may not feel responsible for the end results of the process. They will not be responsible for the end result of process in which he or she contributes to, as there will be lack of motivation. And also the productivity of labor may decrease while absenteeism may increase. This is the perception of the people. And repetitive motion disorder may arise at the place of work, which can be a factor in many manual jobs. And there will be lack of or loss of flexible environment in organizations. The workers may have limited knowledge, while not many jobs opportunities are available for them. And there is a break in production possible, which may cause problems to the entire process, because there is a growing dependency we will be dependent on one person for one task. Another person will not be specializing in that task. And also, finally, there are higher startup costs. High initial costs are necessary to buy the specialist machinery that leads to higher break-even point. Students, these are the observations which we can put forward against the work specialization. Now to sum up, finally what we can say that of course some disadvantages are there, but these disadvantages cannot overpower the advantages or the brighter side of the work specialization. If we make an objective analysis of both the advantages and disadvantages, and we look at the brighter side of the work specialization, we can find one thing at the beginning, that each employee can be an expert to some degree, and there will be task refinement by the specialists that will lead to higher level of productivity. Work can be completed faster and more efficiently due to specialization. It will give the employees an idea. It will give them a sense of pride, and the job security will be higher due to their specialized skills on which the organization will be dependent on. And ultimately, there will be more profitability in organizations. Organization will be having better or sound position than the position that they had in the past if the proper work specialization is done and the employees are assigned their task systematically and they are achieving this task to fulfill the goals of the organization. And now, after discussing this important part, that is the process of the organizing, we have seen four important processes, parts in the process of processing. However, there are several more, but I have taken the four best or the important parts of the process of organizing. Students, now, after discussing this important part, our focus will be on the two important aspects which are considered as the principles of management as per the Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol has treated the chain of command and span of control as the basic principles of management. Let us see what these two principles are.